What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Neg Entropy Chronicles. I'm back with another video, so remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell to be alerted anytime I drop a new video. So, Roland Martin interviewed King Randall. Now, you're probably wondering, who is King Randall? King Randall is a 21-year-old man that is coming out talking about do for self. You know, do for self, don't wait on the government, do for self, do for self, do for self. And him and Roland Martin have been having back and forths on Twitter for quite some time. And because Randall is a conservative, I think that kind of bothers Roland Martin on some level. But I watched an interview with them, and I have to say I was quite disappointed in Roland Martin. Just as an individual, he's an older man, probably about his 50s. And he asked the young man about voting. How do you feel about the voting rights? The young man made a very clear statement. That's not my thing. I'm not going to get into that. That's not something I'm concerned with in regards to that. There's been plenty of pieces to a body. We've already got people for the voting situation that are pushing for voting. That's not my thing. My thing is educating the children. And, less government, trying to not get handouts and focus strictly on, making things happen for yourself. And I have to say that interview was quite disappointing, because you would expect the type of behavior that was going on to be more from the younger individual. You would think Roland would be more poised and not as rude by over talking him, being disrespectful, trying to prove a point, versus actually listening to the young man and what he was actually saying, because he was listening just to jump on him. But if you watch the video, you start noticing that he's saying everything the young man was saying in the beginning. But because he wanted to be argumentative and combative, it actually ruined an opportunity where you could see two black individuals really, come to a common ground. Yeah, you don't agree with voting, cool. But these are the reasons why it's necessary. Which the kid, I'm not going to call him a kid, he's a grown man. Which this young man made a point to acknowledge. He was like, hey, it's totally necessary. That's just not my lane. I just want to educate the kids, because this man at this age of 21 has purchased a school, made a private school where it's funded by the neighboring areas, and he's educating kids. He spent a lot of his time and energy since he's become an adult in order to educate young men. What I'm going to do is leave a link in the description so you can actually check out the video and watch it fully unedited. It's on Roland Martin's page. But, it was a lot of emotion coming from Roland. I don't typically watch him often, but most of the time I watch him, he's definitely argumentative with everybody. It's not like it's a real discussion. It's always, I'm coming at you, I'm coming at you, I'm coming at you. And instead of, hey, let's have our difference of views, but we can come to an understanding by the time the show's over, versus I'm just going to try to prove I'm right to the point where I make you look like an idiot if I can, And the young man was in agreement with him for most of the time. Like, he was asking him, how does he feel about these type of voting situations? He was like, yeah, I don't agree with that. Then he'd ask him something else. I don't agree with that either. I'm wondering why they doing that. That don't make any sense to me. So the young man was on his team in regards to that. But he was like, well, when I say less government, I don't want people living off the system. It doesn't make sense for you to live off the system when you can get up and go get a job and do all these things yourself. So instead of acknowledging that part, or, he just jumped off to the next topic to still try to prove himself right and try to make the young man look wrong and look foolish. That was his whole goal. You see what I mean? So it was definitely disappointing to see how that went down. I'm definitely proud of the young man. He never got out of character. He was well poised. You could definitely tell he had some type of media training probably. And a lot of people are looking at Roland Martin really funny right now. Even when I looked in the comment section of his video, a lot of people were on the young man's side. They was like, he should have been, happy for the young man for what he's doing in the community. But instead, he was just trying to prove himself right. There was even at the end, the young man was like, well, hey, man, if you love to come to the school, I'd be happy if you talk to the young kids and all of that stuff. And he was like, yeah, I'll come, but I'm going to make sure I tell them about voting and why it's so necessary. And he was like, hey, that's fine with me. But it was like you had to take one more petty dig at the end of the interview when the young man is just extending out his hand. It was like that wasn't even necessary. But I guess it works for some people. But yeah, he made himself look real bad on this one. But, you know, check it out. I mean, I agree voting is necessary. If you believe in voting, yes, it's necessary. But you actually have to know what you're voting for. You actually have to do the research and what the ramifications is for, or going to be for what you're voting for. But then also, yes, you need to do for yourself. You can't rely on the government to do everything. I mean, you got to go out there and get it. I mean, you can look across history. The people who went out and got it and did it themselves and not sat there and waited for a handout always came on the right side of history. That's all I'm saying. So if you like this video, like, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell, and be on the lookout for more videos. All right? Peace.